meaningful way. I haven't really seen any sort of improvements where I was like, wow, this game is noticeably and objectively better than the original. Making it about politics is crazy too. You know, that's one way to try to get some attention for your game, I guess, but unfortunately I think you kind of drew the wrong attention, maybe drew in the wrong crowd. They're going to be shutting the doors pretty soon. Will they be issuing a full refund to players out there? Only time will tell. Sometimes they do that. Sometimes games will issue that refund. You can see there he killed the Act Man. These games, man, I think these games will spend a lot of money getting content creators to promote them. I've seen countless content creators, even Destiny content creators, playing this and promoting this game. It's always an interesting element, right? You get these like super popular content creators to play it. You pay them thousands of dollars. I mean, in this case, at least, it seemingly does nothing. You know, Destiny 2 does the same thing. They'll pay content creators thousands and thousands of dollars to play Edge of Fate or any expansion, and it doesn't really move the needle as much as I think they think it does, right? Ultimately, a game has to be built off of the backbone of it being a really good game that intrigues people. It is difficult getting people's attention in this sphere right now. Gaming right now, it's so competitive, man. Countless multi-billion-dollar corporations with all these vested interests pumping in more money for marketing and advertising and development and expansions and updates and turning everything into live service. Every day there's something new and something interesting. Everyone's grabbing for your attention. Everyone's trying to get you to play their game in any way possible, paying celebrities to play their game so that way you would play as well, perhaps. The gaming industry right now is a crazy space, and it is probably the worst time ever to launch a new game, which is in part brings us back to the conversation of Marathon, where Marathon has such an uphill battle. Even if Marathon looked like a really good game, even if it just looked like a great game, let's say it just looked incredible, even that would be hard to sell still because everyone's already playing other games, you know? It's like everyone's already has like a vested interest in the time they've put in these other games for the last however many 5, 10 plus years they've been playing these games, right? So it's a very uphill battle for any new game to launch right now. But if you do try to launch a new game, it's got to be on a scale like that of which we've never seen, right? Grand Theft Auto has literally invested $2 billion. Grand Theft Auto 6 will come out in 2026. $2 billion was invested into that game. That's the scale at which you need if you want a game to thrive or succeed. I feel like Grand Theft Auto 6 is a guaranteed success. Like, there's no way that game chokes. Even though the gaming industry right now is absolutely crazy, there's just no way that game misses, right? Will it recoup all of its $2 billion investment? That's going to be a tough one. Maybe. Only time will tell. Imagine if GTA 6 flopped, though. There's no way. But imagine, though. That would be the craziest blunder of all time. So pretty much impossibility at this point, considering how well GTA 5 is, and that this is just dramatic improvement and enhancement of GTA 5. So I don't see that being a problem. Splitgate 2 did the opposite of GTA 6, though. They didn't drastically improve like its core mechanics and gameplay. Like, you could honestly show me this gameplay right now and be like, this is Splitgate 1, and I wouldn't really know. I'd be like, what? I couldn't tell you the difference between Splitgate 1 and Splitgate 2. I played Splitgate 1 a decent amount, and the differences aren't substantial enough for me. But this game will be gone pretty soon, it seems like, and it will be added to the list of games that are dying or games that are fully dead. And which also brings up an interesting topic, which is there's been this massive push from gamers for this movement called Stop Killing Games, where they want to pass legislation where these gaming companies aren't allowed to just sell you a product like Splitgate, for example, and then shut the doors on the product just a few months later, leaving you with perhaps an unplayable game, or leaving the game in an unplayable state in the next 6 months or year or whatever it may be. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll see if Splitgate is left in a playable state even after it closes its doors. Or maybe they can pull up the crazy psyop of the century and make this game actually great again, I suppose. Right? Like, maybe they can pull it off, make the game interesting, and revive it. But as it looks right now, it seems pretty cooked, you know? They invested everything into this new launch. They paid all these content creators. They promoted the crap out of it, and it's gotten them really nowhere, so sucks. Dark times for game developers right now, that's for sure. A lot of people in the chat saying that they actually love this game and this sucks, right? I see Blood, Sweat, Tears, others saying this. Like, I think this game looks actually pretty good. When you look at the comparison of this gameplay to like Marathon, I would choose this game over Marathon every day. The gameplay, the visuals, I love the blue, the red, the scheme, the like light scheme, the aesthetics, the gunplay. This just, in my opinion, objectively looks better than Marathon. The competition is too steep now. Too many games are already doing it better, you know? You got to compete against the best of the best. Said there's an $80 bundle. Let me look this up. $80 bundle, Splitgate 2. Following the backlash, the $80 Nano Swarm cosmetic bundle to Splitgate 2 was reduced to $40, and players who purchase it at the original price will receive a refund for the difference. So they had to reduce the price of the Nano Swarm cosmetic bundle. They're overcharging for their cosmetics. Man, that's always going to rub a community the wrong way. I mean, Bungie has been doing this for a long time. I said this many times about Destiny 2 cosmetics. If they would lower the price of them, I would actually buy some more stuff. It's just when the cost of it is so much. Like, this costs more than the damn game, more than the damn annual expansion to buy a couple of these armor sets. It makes no sense. You just can't justify the price tag for it. But I guess Bungie has their own price point. It would be cool if they lowered it though, because I would think you'd see a lot more people like buy cosmetics and be stoked about it, because the cosmetics do look incredible in game, of course, but the inability or the having to spend so much money just to get them is just not it. Definitely not it. The CEO had no idea about it either. Yeah, sometimes CEOs can be a little bit out of touch from their own games. Well, there's hiding on the outside here. This is funny.
Who's coming in the driveway?
Bungie has gone DEFCON 1 on the leaking community in Destiny 2. They absolutely nuked the Bungie Leaks account. If you don't know who they are, what they've been doing for years now, they have had access to, I believe, the API. I'm not sure how they do their leaking and their data mining thing. I don't know how that stuff works, but they've had the ability to leak things time and time again, year after year, for so long now. I almost just felt like it was a marketing tactic from Bungie at this point. I thought maybe Bungie was endorsing this, because anytime something new came out, Bungie Leaks was ahead of them. A month beforehand, they were leaking it. The new exotic, the last time we were talking about No Land Beyond coming out, right? They're like, oh my gosh, No Land Beyond's coming back. It's confirmed. It's in the files. We found it. And, you know, it spoils the fun, the excitement for Bungie to reveal things in some ways, but it also creates cool rumors and a little bit of hype and anticipation, because sometimes the leaks are false. And so we're like, hey, what was that all about? And other times they're accurate, which can get you a little more excited. So I've had mixed opinions about leaks in general, but overall, of course, when it comes to story spoilers and story leaks, hell no. Do not be spoiling the story, all right? Let people discover the story on their own. Leaks of that is terrible, especially ones that aren't, you know, with the tag of spoiler on it. Bungie Leaks just posted a couple days ago saying, hey guys, so the Discord got nuked for copyright infringement. That means Bungie's after them. I'm at work currently, so I can't fully respond / make a full post, but I think I'm going to reach out to Bungie in Discord to see if it's about the Bungie part of our name or the actual leak content. Stay tuned. They're not responding, my guy. They're not responding. They're happy to take you down, and they're not going to let you figure out how to get any sort of workarounds to get back up. I'm sure the official name being called Bungie Leaks, because the name Bungie is copyright, probably not the best play. Maybe call it Guardian Leaks, you know, maybe call it D2 Leaks. You figure out something that doesn't get you in even more heat, right? That was a pretty bold name, especially when you know that Bungie is copyright. Discord official responded to them, giving them a notification: you broke Discord's community guidelines. Today, we've taken action that affects your account, and active violations 1, these affect your account status until they expire. Your server Bungie Leaks broke Discord's rules for copyright infringement. So there it is, got taken down. Bungie's after them. Bungie said that they do not like the leak community. They do not like leaks. Like, the individual devs have posted about this on Twitter, that they hate leaks and things like that. Now they finally took action. Years later, they finally done it. They said it's the closed alpha stuff. People had screenshots in there. The marathon closed alpha? Oh, that's actually a really interesting point. That's why. So this was the straw that broke the camel's back, was the marathon alpha. So if you don't know the history behind what's happened here, basically Bungie Leaks is this account that's existed since, it literally says December 2022, and they have been leaking things left, right, and center for Destiny 2 for a very long time. And every single expansion they find stuff, right, and they share it with us. For better, for worse, you know, it's just information. It's out there on the internet, so we talk about it from time to time, and we try to put a spoiler tag on everything, because we're not trying to ruin any of the information for you. But once it's out there, it's just news, right? Once people start talking about it, it exists. Everyone's gonna, the word of mouth is going to spread, and you're going to hear about whatever is being leaked or coming up soon in Destiny 2. This wasn't a problem apparently for Bungie. Inside Destiny 2, they leaked a lot of stuff. Cutscenes, and they would DMCA the cutscenes on YouTube, bring that down. They leaked, like I said, countless exotics, things like that. But apparently Marathon was the straw that broke the camel's back here, because Bungie launched Marathon in its alpha state, and we found out about this crazy art theft controversy. They stole all this art from this singular artist, and it was really bad. It was terrible. So what Bungie did was they brought the game down, they've gone quiet, and they've wiped all the assets in Marathon. They went through Marathon and they wiped all the walls and all the graphics everywhere, removing the artist's content throughout the whole game. And then they let people get back into the game. Some content creators, some non-content creators were able to get back into the game and play in a closed alpha, but it was under lock and key. You were not allowed to post anything about it. You're not allowed to talk about it. You're not allowed to do anything in regards to mentioning the closed alpha. But of course, there were leaks. As is with anything, you can't really keep it under lock and key too much. And apparently these leaks were passed around inside the Bungie Leaks Discord. Because of that massive lawsuit with Anti-Real, and either a lawsuit or a settlement, I don't know if the lawsuit's been filed yet, but the settlement that has to come from Anti-Real and the bad PR that went with that, Bungie wanted to make sure that no one, and I mean absolutely no one, showed any of the Marathon alpha gameplay. That's what finally got them shut down. After all the Destiny stuff they spoiled, they didn't even care. They're like, don't mess with Marathon right now. Bungie's taking Marathon serious right now. What this shows me right here is that Bungie knows that if Marathon flops, their company is in trouble of collapse, full collapse. So they're being extra mindful to not let that happen and to try and navigate and make this successful and stop any sort of bad actors from leaking information or putting any more negative PR out there. They really are pushing as hard as they can. For our safety, we'll be going dark for a while, updates soon to come, but not right now. They'll probably make a new Discord, I imagine, and continue posting Destiny 2 stuff. I don't think they'll ever talk about Marathon stuff. They then go on to say as well, so people have been asking me / giving me advice on what happens now, and I figure I'll leave it up to you. This is a collection of people's ideas. Rebrand, data mining only, leak account plus server. Rebrand, D2 / Marathon news account. 3, don't rebrand, remain entirely on Twitter. 4, end on a high note, archival / deactivation. Other, please comment. No matter what happens, it's been an honor to be a part of this community. We can't endorse doing anything illegal. I don't know if it's illegal to data mine, so I don't think anyone should do anything illegal ever. But information like this will always exist out there in the universe. They weren't the first people to leak Destiny 2 stuff. They weren't the last people to leak Destiny 2 stuff. There will always be leaks out there, unfortunately. So if they continue on, it is what it is, but there's other sources that will be leaking stuff if they don't, because leaking things is, for whatever reason, has become a part of gaming culture, if I'm being honest. If the servers return to usual, then we'll ignore all of this and act like nothing's happened. That's not happening. That server is shut down permanently. That server is not coming back up. Currently, this is the working theory, methinks. Would have been nice if they asked me, the owner, to remove the images before nuking. Bungie has been on my ass for weeks now. I'm not very certain the server got taken down because of the screens, but I deleted my Discords, so I don't know at this point. I know someone will rise to take the mantle soon, though keep your eyes peeled. So this Rox is a guy, I believe this is the guy that was leaking the Marathon stuff. So they've been on his ass for weeks now, posting all these images and sharing what the Marathon Alpha was like after Bungie scrubbed the assets. To clarify, I am not saying we don't deserve this. It's just that we've posted a lot of stuff over the years, some of it NDA breaking, which is making me ask, why now? Which is a good question. Why now? Why is Bungie, after all these years, finally approaching them? And I think it's pretty obvious, it's the Marathon stuff. And then they go on to quote tweet this. This is 100% because of Marathon Alpha screens, oops, which shows how anxious Bungie is about Marathon. That's a good way of describing it. They've never even flinched in all the years of us data mining / leaking, many times NDA content as well. They're very scared about the game doing well, LOL. So there it is. I agree with that sentiment as well, that they're really tense right now when it comes to Marathon and anything Marathon related. They know that their very next move needs to be a massive W, or else the whole project is cooked and the studio goes under. Like, they potentially close the doors on the Marathon team, and then Sony would probably take over immediately afterwards. So literally the Bungie doesn't exist anymore. They're just absolved by Sony. Like, that is like the potential result of this. They're not fucking around anymore. They're not being chill as they used. They used to be chill for a while, right? They were chill. They're like, hey, you know what? You leak some shit in Destiny 2, but they don't leak everything. They just leak like random little tidbits here and there. It's not too big a deal. Let me know what you think about the leak situation down in the comments below, though. Do you think that Bungie is in the right for going after them? Obviously, it's their IP. They have the ability to do this. Now, choosing to do so this late in the game and doing so specifically for Marathon is an interesting choice, but clearly they want to keep things under wraps. But does it even serve a purpose, though, right? Because everyone has the freedom of speech. We have the ability to talk about what the Marathon Alpha looks like after Bungie scrubs the assets. So what is it that you're really preventing even? It's almost like you go through all this tedious effort to prevent all this bad PR. And it kind of, you know what it gives me? It gives me the Barbra Streisand effect. You know what that is? Anytime I get an opportunity to talk about this, this is good. So the Barbra Streisand effect is the phenomenon where you attempt to hide, remove, or censor information online, and it actually results in the information being publicized more widely. It's named after Barbra Streisand, who in 2003 tried to have a photograph of her Malibu residence removed from a public website. But this effort instead drew significant attention to the picture, making it far more visible than it would have been otherwise. The idea is that, you know, information is going to exist out there on the internet freely regardless. So if you throw all this energy and effort to silence and shut things down, then you get all this negative PR, like this post right here that got, you know, almost 200,000 likes now. And a lot of people are talking about Bungie. Why is Bungie so scared of anyone looking at the Marathon Alpha now? Like, why are they frightened of anyone gazing their eyes on the Alpha after the assets are scrubbed? Like, what are they so scared of, right? And this creates more buzz and more conversation, and more people then begin to stir, and the torches get lit, and the pitchforks get sharpened even more, and we're like, oh, there must be hiding something, or there must be some reason why. It creates a more chaotic situation, right? Barbra Streisand did this to herself by just randomly trying to take this picture of her house down, and everyone was like, what is she trying to hide, you know? What is the, you know, that's the idea. The core idea is the internet's ability to disseminate information easily means that attempts to suppress something can backfire spectacularly. If someone tries to take down a piece of information, it often attracts the attention of others who then share it widely. So I think that this will actually have the Barbra Streisand effect. Why are they so afraid and so scared of anyone looking at Marathon? There's not like we're going to see anything worse than what we saw already. We saw a game launch with a bunch of stolen assets, right? Now the walls are going to be cleansed and the art style is going to be changed a little bit. The color scheme, the palette might be changed. But overall, it's going to be the same thing, you know what I'm saying? It's a weird approach from Bungie. I don't think it's the right one, but it's the one they're choosing, right? And whoever's in leadership over the last few years, they've been making some interesting choices, to say the least. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, though. That's a wrap.
Rolling hot dogs super fat on a fluffy bun. All beef hot dogs rolling in. Hurry, cause they're on the run. This dog deal's for me and you. Get your two and a big Q.
This is wild. Either Bungie is desperate or they are genius. They have made all of Destiny 2 content free just before the Edge of Fate and the loot is permanent, meaning that now is actually the best time for new players to get in if they hear about this news, right? So hopefully the word is spread far and wide and new players flock into this game. However, I would say that, 1 week to get prepared for the Edge of Fate might not necessarily be enough, but it might be enough to actually hook you and turn you into a Destiny 2 player. We'll see if this actually boosts pre-order sales for the Edge of Fate. We'll see if this boosts population because we have access to various third-party sites. This is an article here from Forbes. I woke up yesterday, how Bungie is attempting to draw in new players in Destiny 2 with its New Frontiers era, which begins with the Edge of Fate expansion on July 15th. Okay, so that was the topic of yesterday is, are new players even going to be playing the Edge of Fate? Now, Bungie has pulled the ripcord and made quite literally everything you can currently play in Destiny 2 free for a limited time. Here's the list. The Witch Queen expansion, incredible. New players are going to love this. Lightfall expansion, dear God, this should have been free from the start. New players, stay away. Be warned. The Final Shape, Chef's Kiss. 10 out of 10. Beautiful. Echoes episode, the Revenant episode, Heresy episode. There's a lot of good stuff in all of those. I've seen some misreporting about how they've just made 5 expansions free, which is technically true, but Shadowfall and Beyond Lights campaigns were made free some time ago. The expansions will be free until after the Edge of Fate launches, until July 22nd. The episodes, the 3 super seasons that have been live since the Final Shape, are only up for a week and will be removed on July 15th when the Edge of Fate is released. I mean, literally removed. They will be taken out of the game, as is the case with seasonal content when a new expansion launches. The good news here is that anything you earn during this time, armor, guns, exotics, currency, even titles, all of that will carry over once everything stops being free, which is an interesting paradox there because obviously there's a whole new tier 5 weapon system, so would you really want to grind right now? I don't know if you'd really grind for loot in the game right now. I don't know if that's especially desirable or necessary. I think more than anything, you just go through the campaigns, you just get caught up on the story, and you just, experience, the looter shooter that is Destiny 2, Jump around in some activities, see if it's a game for you, right? The exception here, I believe, would be the Strand subclass from Life. Oh, so Strand is not free? While this is meant to attract new players, absolutely dumping content on them like this is bound to be confusing. Okay, let's see what he says here. I'm going to tell you right now that a week to play all the episodes and 2 weeks to play all the expansions is really not going to be possible for most players. My advice is that if you want to connect with the very best story and campaign content of the game, play Witch Queen and the Final Shape. Because Lightfall is bad, and a thrown together expansion that was never supposed to exist. Strand is fun though. This is a fair criticism, and I agree with this. Play the Witch Queen, play the Final Shape, and if you can make it through that in a week, which should be manageable, you're going to really enjoy the story of Destiny, I think. And I think you'll be maybe hooked for the Edge of Fate. Maybe this will actually get some new players in here. But if you want the best loot in the game, you might want to play the episodes as much as possible. As for those that have introduced some great gear that will now go above and beyond most of what you can earn in past expansions, minus raid loot perhaps. But I wish you luck trying to burn through raids as a completely new player in 2 weeks. There's no way. So a week and a half, you're probably not making it through any raids. Especially you'd have to get through the master version to get the adepts. Not happening, alright? It's very unlikely. Lapsed players, maybe so. Yeah, if you're a returning player, possibly. I do find this somewhat ironic that players can keep all their weapons and armor, as the game is quite literally revamping all weapons and armor into an entirely different system with the launch of the Edge of Fate. So things will change immediately or even midway through the free period of expansions. Yeah, that is kind of a funny note, right? You can just now get everything. But I mean, this actually makes sense logically though, because this is the time when the armor and the loot is the most devalued. Like getting something that's going to expire in 10 days is an odd, like people aren't going to be especially enticed by that. But the removal of that paywall is very nice, especially for just giving players a true chance to play Destiny 2 as a free-to-play game. Truly, everything will be free to you for once. Normally, it's like free to try, free to, test out Destiny 2, but now it's actually fully free to play, which, they can't be doing this regularly throughout expansions, but at the very end, just before the launch of a new saga, is the appropriate time, and I'm glad that they're actually doing it. I mean, go for it. I love Destiny. It has wild ups and downs, and it will never be what it once was, but so much of this content is great and gunplay is best in industry. Have fun. So interesting point there. It'll never be what it once was. It's probably a pretty fair criticism overall, but I do hope that Destiny has brighter days ahead, especially as we kind of navigate through this weird period of time that we're in right now. I think that we've got some big leadership issues. We've obviously got Sony looming over all of the different, failed, monetization seasons, everything. Like, the numbers are going down in terms of how much money Bungie is pulling in, especially from the estimations after they were acquired. So I'm hoping that Destiny goes through kind of a turbulent time now and maybe comes out the other side even better, perhaps, right? There's a chance where they switch up the devs, they, develop it in a way that's much more lucrative and grows the population more. Maybe it's wishful thinking, maybe it's complete copium or whatever, but I think that there's a possibility for that to happen. And only time will tell, though. Definitely Destiny has had probably its best days behind it, though, especially with the final shape, because that was a crazy climactic ending. But it shouldn't be that Destiny could never outdo the final shape. I think that Destiny could definitely outdo the final shape. It's possible, right? You can at least conceptualize what that would look like. So everything's free to play. Hopefully this draws in new players. We will be monitoring the player base from the Steam charts, and we have a secondary website now that monitors all of the populations on console as well. So we'll be able to see just how much of an influx in new players this has. And does this carry over? Does this bleed into the Edge of Fate well? Does this sell pre-orders for the Edge of Fate? Only time will tell, and we'll keep you updated on that news when we get that story. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and we'll see you in the next one. Later.
Come on into Baymont, where you'll be greeted with a warm...
I have not watched this video, but what a title. Where did Bungie go?
Bungie was once the most admired game studio in the world.
One of the most eagerly awaited video games finally goes on sale.
We got it! Woo!
Sniper! Sniper!
But today, Bungie is unrecognizable.
Bungie is cooked. This is like watching a train wreck in slow motion.
They are struggling right now, looking like me trying to reach the top shelf in my pantry.
Basically, steals assets from a singular lone artist without permission.
220 roles are being eliminated from Bungie. Marathon could be the death of Bungie.
The people who made the company legendary have quietly left, one after another, like pieces of a puzzle falling away. What pushed Bungie's developers out of the door? Where did these amazing people go? And how did the studio that created Halo end up releasing a game like Marathon, a game that looks to be dead on arrival? Well, it all starts with Alex Seropian, the founder of Bungie. Now, Alex founded the company all the way back in 1991, long before Master Chief existed, long before Xbox was even an idea. He was just a college kid in a dorm room making a simple game called Gnop. What a beauty. And instead of just uploading it somewhere random, Alex did something wild. He self-published it under the name Bungie. Just him, a floppy disk, and a mailing list. That was it. Talk about having some indie roots. In this moment, Bungie was born. Not as a studio, but as a mindset. To build stuff Alex was passionate about. Soon after he published his first game, he met another student, Jason Jones, the other co-founder of Bungie we know. Jason at the time was coding an ambitious multiplayer game called Minotaur, and together they created some great games.
Don't like that kind of look power. What Minotaur?
Bungie we know. Jason at the time was coding an ambitious multiplayer game called Minotaur, and together they created some great games, from Pathways into Darkness to Marathon. Alex and Jason shaped Bungie into a team that punched way above its weight. They were a small crew with big ambitions, and the company became known for games that felt different, that were special. Bungie wasn't printing money yet. This wasn't the golden days of Bungie that we all know. And by the late 90s, they were running low on cash. Alex saw the writing on the wall. Bungie was going to survive. If Halo was going to be what it could be, he had to make a bold move. So he sold Bungie to Microsoft. That one decision saved the company and made Halo the crown jewel of the Xbox for 2 decades. But for Alex, that was the finish line. After Halo shipped, he quietly stepped away. And that's the thing people forget. Jason Jones didn't start Bungie. Alex Seropian did. And he didn't just build Bungie with Jason, he saved it. And when his work was done, he let go. Then there's Joseph Staten, a truly loved man in the Halo community.
Yep.
And by me. Joseph gave Halo its soul. He crafted its iconic story. He wrote its dialogue and gave the universe this unique voice. But then out of nowhere in 2013, he he walked away from Bungie. And he wasn't the only one. Next came Marcus Leto. Joseph might have given Halo its story, but Marcus defined its look. He designed the architecture, the environments, and the most famously, Master Chief himself. Fans and industry peers have often called Marcus the father of Master Chief. Talk about some talent, having created one of the most iconic gaming characters of all time. But like Joseph, he left in 2012 and another domino fell for Bungie. And then the music stopped. Marty O'Donnell, the legendary composer behind Halo's unforgettable soundtracks, the man that gave us this